things didn't go to plan with Erislandy Lara. Just mentally, I was just a little off. There was no excuses. I just didn't feel like Michael Zerafa on the night. And yeah, it happens. Some days are good, some days are bad. And unfortunately, it was just a bad night for me.
He is the winner by way of knockout and still the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Erislandy, the American Dream Lara.
Don't remind me. It was a bad day for me, but mentally, I don't know, it just wasn't on. Even warming up, there was no hiccups in the prep. I had Nanito Denaire and Rachel Denaire and the team in my corner, and I had a great camp. I was just off. It was just one of those days, man, where some days you feel good, some days you feel bad, and for me, there was no excuse. I just felt shit house, to be quite honest. And walking out, I couldn't adapt. I just couldn't find myself, and I paid the consequences, sadly. And it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow because I worked my whole life for that opportunity for a world title, and I let it slip through my hands so easily. But man, look, I felt like I needed that loss. I didn't want it, but I needed it. It's put a lot of fire back in the belly now, and it's made me more motivated. So for me now, it's go time. I think what happened in the Lara fight, people always reflect on that fight, and that's great. I like that they do that because, again, that was a switched off Michael Zerafa, and like I said, if they're reflecting on that fight and trying to go off that, I fought terribly. I mentally didn't even want to be there. So let them. For me, like I said, Tim, anyone that wants to, they can go look at that fight, and I hope they judge off that because, like I said, come fight time, I'm a completely different fighter.
It's interesting you say mentally you didn't want to be there. Why is that?
I don't know. I mentally just wasn't there. Even warming up in the back, I was talking to the team, and I'm just like, I just don't feel right. I just don't want to be here, really. I just mentally checked out. The last 4 weeks of my camp was a little bit messy. Just the travel over, just the last few sparring sessions, couldn't get any, sparring and whatnot. And I think I let that get to me. Telling myself, I didn't do enough, or maybe I took some shortcuts here and there, and I overplayed that in my head. But yeah, like I said, physically I was in great shape. I just mentally, wasn't there. For me, the mixed versions of Michael Zerafa, I feel like, it just all comes down to the day. Some days I can be off, and some days I can be on. But as I've gotten older, I've learned now how to stay switched on, even when I'm off. It's being present now. I work solely now with a sports psych and everything, and trying to get the mind 100% is key now. And as I'm getting older, I'm more mature. I'm a man now, and yeah, like I said, I'm finding it real easy now to switch it on when I need to. So sports psych was only really introduced for the first Horn fight. And funny enough, I didn't actually have him in the second Horn fight, and it paid dividends with a loss. But yeah, after that, I've had him non-stop, and in all my camps, I use him every fortnight, sometimes every week, just to make sure that the mind's programmed, because the sport's not all physical. It's a lot of mental. It's a mental game too. So I work solely on that to get that 100%. And like I said, as I've gotten older and I've adapted on how to switch on that mind, unfortunately, it just wasn't there on the night against Lara. Well, the fight with Tommy Browne got completely out of hand. That's boxing, I guess, but it should have never happened. My brother just did what a brother would do. So, I don't condone what he did, but at the end of the day, he's got my back, I've got his back. But I feel like it's both parties as well that are to blame, not just myself. There was words said, things done from Tommy Browne's camp, which is unfortunate. And then obviously my corner went that next level. But look, it's just something that should have never taken place. But look, at the end of the day, no one got hurt. It looked bad for TV on such a big platform, but again, I feel like we're both to blame in that situation. To be honest, after the fight, I don't know who it was in his corner, but it said something to me which kind of triggered me off a little bit, and then I retaliated with something I said back, and then it spiraled on from there, and his corner came at me, and my corner went back at him, and like I said, it just got out of hand. I can't remember exactly what was said, but yeah, he said something to me which then fired me up, obviously in the moment, and then I said something back, and it was he said, she said, and then just one thing led to the next. Tim Tszyu, for me, his team, I think, thought he was somewhere where he is, but he actually isn't. He was just too fixated on being the best, and calling out the Canelos and the Crawfords and the Errol Spencers, and not figuring out what was in front of him. I knew that was always going to happen. I've been saying this since the get-go. I've been saying Tim's not as good as he actually is, but in his head he believes he beats everybody. I remember him saying that he was going to go from junior middleweight to heavyweight and winning every single title in the divisions. But people are starting to realise that he's not exactly where he thinks he is, and where he needs to be is, his level's far from. So For me, it was a hard fight against Fundura and then an even harder fight in Murtazali, but I feel like, there should have been a little bit more planning instead of just jumping straight back to another fight. But in Tim's credit, there was another world title on the line, so he'd be stupid not to take the opportunity. The mistakes he made, I guess, was signing the contract from the get-go. That was probably the worst mistake, but he was just outmatched. Murtazali just had a better game plan. I feel like, if they fought 10 times, I feel like Murtazali would be the same outcome. I just feel like, Murtazali was just a better boxer, and just came with the goods. Tim Tszyu is generally scared. I generally feel like he's worried. Every time I'm standing in front of him, he has nothing to say. He swallows hard. He sweats when I'm around him. He puts his head down. In Vegas when we crossed paths, he made sure he came out of his way to shake my hand. But then when I'm not in presence with him, he talks about having a punch on in the car park. He finds his balls when I'm not standing in front of him. So for me, and I made it quite clear on Fox Sports this morning, I said, if he wants to fight in a Coles car park, tell me when and where and I'll be there. We'll settle it once and for all. But I generally feel like he doesn't want to fight me because he's built so much hype in, I'm just a nobody, that now he doesn't want to fight me because if I win, he's done. I truly believe the fight between me and Tim will happen. He doesn't have a choice. We're both signed to the promoters, and I know his team are a bit iffy on the fight. They've said it off camera, but at the end of the day, he can't run forever. There's only so much he can run and hide, and he's getting close to being cornered. Well, they said that he wants a warm-up fight. They said, look, before we jump into a fight with you, we want a warm-up fight. There's things that there's plans that they have apparently, and they said, look, we don't really want to risk it fighting you. We want another fight, and in a confidence-building fight was the exact word.
That's pretty reasonable considering the 2 fights you just came out of, right?
No, it's terrible. Win, lose or draw, brother, you fight. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm not his team. The guy I'm fighting on March 12th is a tough journeyman. And I mean German man, not German. He's tough. He hasn't lost in a while. I think it's his second fight that he lost in. So he's coming off, consecutive wins and confidence. And I've got nothing really to gain, but everything to lose. And he's got, nothing to lose, everything to gain. So it's a dangerous fight for me. But I want to test myself. I want to fight guys. I haven't fought that much in 3 years because I've either been knocking them out or I got beaten against the Lara fight. So for me, this is going to be a tough fight. He's going to come to fight, and his trainer's already messaged me telling me they're bringing the heat. So it excites me. When there's a task ahead, I'm motivated, and this is something I want. I'm not looking for easy fights. I want to test and see where I'm at. If I can't beat guys like this, then world titles are out of my sights. I think the main event, March 12th, is a great fight. Credit to both guys. You got the young versus the old. Probably more of a credit to Jarvis, stepping out of the comfort zone and fighting someone in such a big name in Keith Thurman. He's two-time world champion and fought, massive names. So for me, I'm looking forward to it. The heat's off me. I can kick back and relax and watch it. But again, I'm still just fully focused on what I've got to do because I've got a task ahead. I'm the semi-main event. I feel like that's a big fight too. Like I said, there's titles on the line too that I need to bring back. And yeah, like I said, once I get the win, I'll quickly get changed, take my photos, and watch the fights. I want to show March 12th a different side of Michael Zerafa. I've been working patience, I've been working timing, I've just been working staying relaxed and just, not getting ahead of myself and trying to rush, real patience. And I'm starting to really get the hang of it. The time that I haven't been in the ring is giving me more time to work on myself and become a better and more complete fighter. So I'm excited for that because I feel like I'm a lot dangerous now. And, I switched on Michael Zerafa. The best in the world have said it, and the best trainers in the world have said it. The right Michael Zerafa rocks up and beats anybody. And that's what I'm really working on, in the gym, just always being switched on when I need to be. And like I said, I'm getting the hang of that. And come fight night, like I said, no stone will be left unturned. And I'm coming for anybody that's in front of me.